Welcome back to another episode of the Thought Leaders Business Lab. I'm your host, Samantha Riley, and I'm very excited because today is the very first week or the very first episode that I'll be sharing with my co-host, Tim Hyde. Tim, welcome to the show.
Samantha, I'm super excited to be here and looking forward to a very exciting 2019, being your co-host, co-presenter.
I think that you're a very brave person deciding to jump in with me.
Oh, no, I reckon we get on all right.
Yeah, it's all right.
All right. No, it's going to be a lot of fun, and I know we've been talking about doing this for a while, and super excited. It's actually finally sort of come to fruition this year. So
absolutely. So if you haven't been exposed to Tim, as weird as that sounds, not exposed to Tim. If you haven't heard of Tim, go back and check out episode 25 where we had Tim on as a guest. Tim is an automation expert, so we won't go into his background more because you can hear it on episode 25, hear about the kinds of clients he works with. But definitely my go-to automation expert, guru, awesome person all round, really.
That's because you're so technically savvy, as we were talking about just before this podcast.
Oh God, don't make me laugh so hard. It's funny. Like we were saying, I can be so tech savvy in some areas, and then in other areas, I'm just like, I don't know. I don't get it.
Hey, look, as you always say, it's far better to focus on your zone of genius.
Absolutely.
And get rid of everything else off your plate. Give it to people who are much better at what it is that they do. So it frees you up to work on your business and do things that you love doing in your business.
Absolutely. What a beautiful segue into what we're going to talk about on this show. What are we going to talk about or what is the outcome that we've decided on for these Thursday episodes?
I think, one of the big things that I want to do and really convey to our listeners is really looking at what's working. Right? So we've talked about sort of revealing, lifting up the skirts of our business, so to speak, and under the covers and having a look behind at what you do and certainly what I do as well in our business that makes it successful. Obviously, we're going to be doing that with guests as well, as often as we can, but really showing people what they should be doing in their business to really give them the business that they wanted when they went in there. Right? So the lifestyle, the freedom, the profitability, the ability to change their worlds, whatever higher purpose you went into your business in the first place. We really want to drill into what are the things that you need to do to achieve that outcome in your business. Now, it's hard. We know business is overwhelming for so many people, and I literally have been writing a course this morning on marketing automation and how you should be looking at business and drilling down to all the things. And I think just as I was literally writing, here are some things to get you started sort of section in that course. And in my head, when I started to sort of go, here are just a couple of things, I was thinking, oh, look, I'll just write down 5 or 6 things that my business does as an example for someone to kind of prompt them on the kind of activities that they do in their business. And literally, I had to stop it at 30. I think I'm going to have to come back and take some of those things out because their business does so many things. Right?
Totally.
We answer phone calls, we do podcasts, we plan podcasts, we upload the content, we strip out the audio, we top and tail. And this is just a podcast, top and tail the podcast. We make sales calls, we follow up on sales calls, we send information, we read emails, we do strategic planning, we look at what our customers are doing. We interview employees, we train employees, we deal with suppliers. It's just this absolute massive list of things that we do in our business. And when you start looking at this entire thing, you sort of go, oh, okay, I'm going to rethink this. I might just go and get myself a day job. But we know that this thing that you and I do, that our listeners are doing right now, it's more than just a way to pay the bills.
Yes.
It's really this passion that we have to help people in the way we've chosen to help people.
Totally.
With the things that we do.
Yeah, totally. And I've got to say that I'm very glad that I've run multiple businesses before and had a lot of success in them, because otherwise, in this online world, or coming into this different age, well, we've been in it, for probably the last 9 years. Business has changed a lot. But if I hadn't experienced the joys of business previously, I possibly may have given up this time, because business is very different now, and there is so much to do. But at the same time, all of those things are what gives us more opportunity to have more freedom in our business, and create this, or design our life. As someone said to me yesterday, we're creating a business that gives us the freedom to do things that in times previously we haven't been able to do. So, it's about creating this business, and that's where you come in with all these amazing automations that you do. We've got all of these opportunities at our fingertips. If we don't tap into them, it's like being in this business jail where you can't get out, rather than understanding that there's different ways to do things that will give us freedom in our business, which means that we've got more time to not just have for ourselves, but to get our message to more people and create a bigger impact, which I know, Tim, for the people that you and I have in our worlds, that's definitely what it's all about. It's creating a bigger impact and helping people to then create the life that they want.
Absolutely. I still remember my first business. I was 6 years old and founded a circus, which I invited all the neighbourhood kids around to. And the endearing memory of that time is not all the 1 cent lollies that I was able to buy with my proceeds.
You're showing your age right there.
1 cent lollies. I'll tell you. I'll tell you more in a second. But that business was fun. Business was this enjoyable thing.
Yes.
And as an adult, I see so many clients now that I work with, and I know you're the same, who are struggling to make their business work. They're desperate to make it work.
Yes.
And they want to.
Yes.
And we're assaulted by so many things. When I did IT at uni, there was no internet.
Yep.
Now I'm showing my age.
Yeah. I wasn't sure if I was meant to say something there or not. I thought, no, I'll be good, Sam.
Only just.
Already week 1 for the co-host.
Yeah, only just. But there was no internet
when
I first, when I studied IT at uni. When we look at the iPhone, right, we're just on, as we record this, the iPhone X or XR. The last time Australia had a prime minister who sat an entire term, the iPhone didn't exist.
No way.
Yeah, it's only 10 years ago.
Wow.
Right? And people I don't think people have sort of caught up with the fact that we've had this massive transformation in business over the last 10 years, over the last 20 years, with absolute wealth of new technology that has enabled us to do so many different things in different ways than we ever did before. Once upon a time, one newspaper in your town, and certainly in my town, and 3 TV stations, one of which you couldn't advertise on.
Yes, exactly.
So you just didn't have the opportunities and different things out there to market our business. And now we're so overwhelmed with so many different opportunities and so many different channels to market. It can be very confusing about what it is that we need to be doing to drive our business where we want it to go. New technology that didn't exist 10 years ago, in some cases didn't exist 5 years ago.
Yeah.
To do things in different ways, more efficiently, more effectively. And then, of course, we've got now, for most people, we're now dealing with a global market. And whilst that creates massive opportunity to reach a global audience and clients in different countries, it also means that your previously safe backyard is now exposed to competitors on the global stage as well.
Yeah, which is all a pro and a con, and it depends which way you look at it. And I know that over the holidays, I've been doing a lot of research into the future of the workforce. And I think the numbers are predicted that by 2020, which really is only next year now, that 50% of the US workforce is going to be freelancing. And by 2050, they're predicting that 80% of the global of everyone in the whole world will be, you know, unemployed. So those people all won't be without work as such. It means that they won't be employed by an employer. They'll be part of the gig economy. They'll be freelancers. The way that corporations will be working with people is not on an employee basis anymore. They'll be working with specialists that are that they'll be hiring that have got a very specific skill set on a project basis. So I think that with the people that you and I work with, you know, the coaches and the consultants and the small business owners and entrepreneurs who are service-based, this is a really amazing opportunity to really, you know, tap in and develop your thought leadership and really get mastery in whatever niche you choose, or niche, depending where you are listening in the world, because there's a massive, massive opportunity coming up. And it's a great time, if you know, to really build your business and to really build your influence and build out a leveraged business model.
That's right. You know, if you're listening to this right now, you are an early adopter.
Yeah, absolutely.
With that transition. And the thing is that everybody who has previously held this safe employee status and had this security of, you know, next fortnight paycheck, that's going to disappear. People are going to have to think more like entrepreneurs, more like business owners, where you're going to have to learn to market yourself, you know, to those, you know, employers, and you might have 2, 3, 4 of them at the same time. In the same way, right now we have 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 50 customers. That's how we're going to have to start to think, and it's going to be a really big shift, you know, over the next 10 to 20 years.
Huge.
You know, in how people operate, how people earn their incomes.
Totally. So if you're listening now and you've already started your business, definitely, you know, keep tuning in as Tim and I lift the hood or our skirt, or I don't know how you want to say it, on our business with what's working now. Because like Tim said, you know, it does change. You know, Tim, you said things that weren't around a year ago. I was just implementing a piece of software this morning that wasn't around 2 weeks ago. Or, you know, I mean, obviously it wasn't development, but it's only just been released to the marketplace. That's how fast things are changing. So, you know, keep tuning in and really, really build your business, build your influence, bring in these automations that Tim's talking about. But if you've got loved ones or friends that are in corporate, you might want to actually start to talk about building your brand and starting to think about developing your thought leadership, because, you know, I know my husband works in corporate and he's seen the pages and pages of reports that I've been going through, and he's started to take that back to his employees and really saying, guys, you need to start building your brand.
Yeah, as hard as it is to talk to people who have employee mindset, I know that they think you're all completely nuts, like my friends who have day jobs and I'm completely crazy.
Oh, well, we are completely crazy.
Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the square pegs in the round holes. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it, and you know, we've got lots planned at whatever stage your business is at. I know next week, for example, we're going to drill down into really understanding how can you market your business with no money, and there's lots of things you can do. I think when we look at a lot of stuff, people confuse the things that always cost dollars, and yes, certainly things do cost dollars. I think if I was to start my business over again, I probably would have intentionally spent more dollars.
Yes.
I didn't realize how valuable my time is, but certainly we're going to try and make this podcast valuable for people at all stages of their journey. So,
absolutely.
You know, if you know your time is a resource to your business as well as the dollars it commands. So, we're going to look at some strategies on how to market your business with no money, as you and I do, Sam. You know, we're referral partners as well.
Absolutely.
And, you know, that's a time consumption thing that I've got that doesn't cost me anything.
Yeah.
So, you know, we're going to drill into some of those things. I think the week after that, we're going to talk about niching.
Awesome. It's a topic that I absolutely love.
You know, but getting that right, really getting your message to your niche correct, can be the foundation of everything you do, you know, from there on. I think we were just talking about beforehand. I think I've had a absolute whirlwind start to this year. But over the Christmas period, I revisited all of my messaging, to my avatar, who I wanted to talk to, what they wanted to hear, the transformation I can create to them. And in the first 10 days of 2019, as I listen to this, I think I've signed close to $100,000 worth of new business, which is super exciting and slightly overwhelming.
It's very exciting.
I have to work out how I'm going to deliver that over the next 12 months as well. But it's certainly possible, once you understand your niche, who that customer avatar is that you want to work with, to make massive transformations in your business really, really quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, it's a mixture of everything. We do need to have the organic marketing strategies, but obviously, and at startup phase, it has to be part of it. And, we'll talk about next week why and the benefits of doing organic marketing, because it's not just about not spending money. There's actually lots of other benefits or side benefits you get from organic marketing as well. But obviously, as you grow, you have to leverage your marketing and bring new people in, and that's where paid strategies come in. But that's another week and another topic.
That's right. And it's one of those things you can't stop doing.
Absolutely. If people don't know who you are, they can't come and find you, and they can't pay you money to help solve their problems.
I think I used the analogy the other day. It's like a bathtub full of water. And all the water represents you and all of your competitors. You can't suddenly take a scoop of water out and expect the whole still be there that you can just come back to later on.
Not much scooping. Let's go with that. Now, Tim, we actually want this to be an experience for our listeners as well, and to have the opportunity to have their questions answered live on the show and have us discuss them and help us to bring experts into the business lab. So we've got a hashtag Ask Sam and Tim. And if you use that hashtag on social so that we can see it and find it, we would love to answer any questions that you've got around positioning, building your profile, leverage, automation, all the sorts of things that you need to build a business as an expert or a freedom-based business.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it, Sam. I think we're going to get lots of interesting questions. And to be honest, no questions too curly. If we can't answer it, we'll go and find out.
Absolutely. That's what I love about us. We're very resourceful. If we don't know the answer, and let's face it, we don't know the answer to everything, then we will be excited to go find someone that can answer the question for you. The challenge is on, and we accept the challenge.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Looking forward to it, Sam. And of course,
Thanks,
you can expect this episode to come out every Thursday.
Yes.
We're going to be sharing it around our social media channels on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook. I don't know if you use Twitter, do you, Sam?
I don't. I've got a Twitter account and I don't use it, but don't tell anyone.
I have too. I don't actually know what my password is.
I did do a stint. I gave it a big stint and went, no, this isn't doing it for me, and that's okay. And that's probably another topic right there.
Look,
where you
right.
spend
We'll be
time,
talking about, where we spend our time. Should you be on Twitter? Should you be on Instagram, Facebook? Should you be at your local networking group?
Yeah.
To build your audience, and we're going to talk about those sorts of things as well. Look, if you know someone who could get value from one of our podcasts as well, please feel free to share it. We'd love you to do so, and happy to take questions as we go through it.
Absolutely. Tim, thanks very much for joining us on the first Thursday episode. I look forward to spending 2019 with you every Thursday. And for all our listeners that tuned in today, thanks for listening. And don't forget to use that hashtag Ask Sam and Tim. Have a great week, Tim. Have a great week to all our listeners, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.